I'll give you the essence of this in the event I can't finish it in time. I seem to have a lot of time now, which is good. This is from a book called The True Sage. It's a book of Osho's. We love Osho's commentaries. None of us has ever met Osho, because we were told in this ashram, we did know people who knew him back in the 60s, people who lived here. They'd gone to his place in India. But they too came back and said, it's better you read from him. He's a little wild, you know. And then Gurji said the same thing. Gurji said, and we read from him all the time with Gurji, but Gurji said, no need to meet him. No need. Put it very nicely. The topic, though, of this, I thought, very fascinating reading, is wherever you are, use all situations to awaken yourself, wherever you are. Doesn't have to be just here. Sometimes we give silent retreats that focuses a light through the silence on what's really happening inwardly. But we're being told here, even things that don't seem at all related to our journey could be exactly what's needed to help move us to the next dimension. We don't recognize it because it's not according to our expectation of what is spiritual. But everything is. Everything is. If you use it in that way, if you use this word that Gurji sometimes use, divinize it, to make it divine, whatever it is. Here, you just wanted a bonfire. That desire led to what I think was a direct transmission from Gurji to you. You are Agni. That's why you like bonfires. You like fires. A lot of our great guests who came from India especially, they like to have fire at the ashram, right on the island where you're going. This reading begins in this way. Lord Krishna in the Gita says the following: when the whole world is fast asleep, then too the yogi is awake. When the whole world is asleep, the yogi is awake. When the whole world, this is Osho now, when the whole world is under dark sleep, when the whole world has its night, the yogi is still awake. And I will tell both groups tonight and even our other friends who are here, who come regularly or haven't been for a while but are back. Remember, Gurji always said, listen for a personal message for you in every one of these readings. They're like custom designed. I don't choose them until the very last minute, and Dharmadev knows, Marv, my husband, knows that he gets up in the morning, and I'm usually up before him, and he said, well, you have your program? I said, yes. He said, the same one as last night? No. Because sometimes it changes. It changes during the night. Why? I don't know. It's something mysterious. I do know that usually when I read anything here at the ashram, quite a few people come up and say, that was my question that I've had my whole life. Or how did you know I needed to hear that? I said, I don't know anything. I just feel my way around to find out what readings have to be discarded for a while, to be read another time, and what has to be read now. So it's saying that everybody here will get something of value from some part of this story right now. When the whole world is under dark sleep, When the whole world has its night, the yogi is still awake. That doesn't mean that the yogi never sleeps. No, he sleeps, but only his eyes are closed. His body sleeps. He is alert. He is aware. Deep down, a current of self-remembering runs. I like that. That's the first line I went, oh, a current deep down. When we sleep, deep down, because we're all yogis, but we're not aware, as the yogis, the true yogis are aware, that there's a current of self-remembering, bringing us back to our true self, our true life. He says, deep down there is the current of self-remembering. The yogi is fast asleep as far as the body is concerned, but the witnessing self remains alert. Like an inner light, it goes on burning. One who remembers is not asleep, even when he is fast asleep. And one who does not know how to remember oneself is not awake, even though the eyes are open. You are moving in the marketplace. You're doing your job, you're doing your work, coming back home, fighting, loving, hating, eating, sleeping, doing all sorts of things. But the whole thing is happening as if you are a robot, mechanically. That's the conditioning. Everything is mechanical. You are not doing it. You are not alert when you are doing it. It's just happening, and you are behaving like a mechanism. Watch any mood. This is fascinating. Watch any mood that you have. Somebody insults you, and you're angry. But is there a gap between the insult and the anger? That's what we were talking about today in the afternoon. That pause, that gap, the witnessing gap. Is there a gap where you meditate, whether to be angry or not, whether it's worth it to be angry or not, or maybe what the man or woman is saying is right? Do we ever consider that? Could they be right? Not when we're angry. Not when our ego is puffed up. Is there any gap for us to ask, is what they're saying right? It's not an insult, but simply a statement of fact. Do you give a little time to think about the whole situation, or do you simply react? You react. There's not a gap, no interval. And he's speaking in general. There may be people in this room, bless you, there may be people in this room who have reached the point where there is a gap. There's a little pause before the reaction comes. There's already somebody going, it happened to me. Okay, maybe we'll hear about it. Insult, anger, they happen as if somebody puts on the light. Switch on, switch off. And the light has no freedom. We're the light. They switch us on, they switch us off. It's not possible when you switch on. The bulb cannot say that, you know what, right now I'm not in the mood. I'd like to have a little rest. I don't feel like lighting up right now. No, the switch has been pushed. The light cannot say, you can go on switching it on, but I don't feel like being lit right now. No, the light cannot say anything. You switch on, it has to be on. You switch off, it has to go off. These are the conditioned responses like Pavlov's dogs. This is what we're moving under, the law of cause and effect of karma. We have been conditioned to react a certain way, and what we need is to break through that conditioning. Do we all understand that problem? Because it's the problem. If we're going to ever come out of suffering, and if you do believe in reincarnation, if we will have a real control over improving next time what went on this time. If we don't break through the conditioning, what happens? You tell me. What happens? You repeat exactly, not some of the things, exactly the same story again. The best example I have of that is one of the best films I showed at a silent retreat, Groundhog Day. That's the same message. Religious groups are recognizing that that's a very spiritual film. Groundhog Day. Every retreat I have, they say, "Are you going to show that again?" I said, not yet. A few others. But remember the message of that film. Until he changed inwardly, until there was a deep transformation inwardly, he had to keep repeating yesterday, the next day. And that's the same message for our reincarnation. It's up to us. If we take a jump beyond, we're born into a spiritual family right away, so we don't have to go through what most of us went through the first 20, 30 years. But we're told right away who we are and what we have to do, as we're learning now. And we meet gurus right away to help. Or, same thing over again. Nobody wants that. We always want some improvement. Or we go back. We go back to our old tendencies before we even had some of the advantages we had this lifetime. We just jump back because we're returning to old habits. Patanjali said, the vrittis, the old tendencies, old impressions. This is not all a sad story. There's a good part coming. No, the light cannot say anything. You switch on, it has to be on. You switch off, it has to go off. Is your anger just like that? Somebody smiles and you smile. Is your smile just a reaction, or is it a response? Now we're going to hear the difference between a reaction and a response. A response is not a reaction, and a reaction is not a response. What is the difference between a reaction and a response? A reaction is, anybody know this word? What's coming? What is a reaction? A reaction. A reaction is automatic. A reaction is built in. Somebody smiles, so you smile. Somebody's angry, you become angry. The other creates it, and you simply react. Response, though, is conscious. The other may be angry, but you decide whether to be angry or not. And here's an example of Buddha. Buddha was passing a village. A few people who were against Buddha gathered. In the beginning, there were many who were against Buddha. Why did you take that pillow? Yeah, that. Or you can sit there and look important. I won't ask you anything, but you could sit there. You look important already. I was saying that we never realize that in the beginning Buddha had as many enemies as Christ had. People are always against the avatars, the wise, the enlightened. because they feel their whole existence is being threatened. That this is too new and dangerous. They're comfortable in what they know. Talking about people who are against the enlightened ones. Buddha was passing a village. A few people who were against him gathered, and they insulted him very deeply. Buddha listened silently, very patiently. In fact, because of his patience, the people started becoming really restless. They started feeling uncomfortable, because when you insult a man and he listens as if he's listening to music, something has to be wrong. What's happening with this one? And they started looking at each other. Then one person asked Buddha, "What's the matter with you? Maybe you don't understand what we're saying." Buddha said, "It's because I can understand. That's the reason I'm so silent. Had you come 10 years before, then I would have jumped on you. But then there was no understanding. Now I understand. And for your foolishness, I cannot punish myself. It's for you to decide to insult or not. But it's my freedom to take it or not. You can't force your insults on me. I refuse. They're not worth it. You can take them back home. I refuse to take them." And he stopped talking. The people were truly bewildered. They couldn't understand. They said, "No, wait. There's got to be something the matter with you. Would you please explain you to us?" He said, "Sit down. Sit down and listen to me. In the village, remember, there's a story for you in here. And for me, that's how I read everything, looking for my message, looking to see what's going to bring the chills a little bit. Because it's like the gurus are right in front of us. It's like Buddha is right in front of us. And he may have been at one time. Buddha said, "Sit down and listen to me. In the village I just passed by, people had come with sweets and garlands. But my stomach was so full, I told them that I won't be able to eat anything. You please take your gifts back and give them to other people in the town as prasad, as a gift from me, my gift to the people of the town. What do you think they did?" Buddha said to this angry group. Somebody said, "Well, they must have gone into the village and distributed the sweets." Buddha said, "Now listen, what will you do? You come with insults, and I say, 'Sorry, my stomach is full. My stomach is full. I'm not going to take these.' Now, you poor people, you unfortunate people, what will you do? You're going to have to go and distribute it in the village." Somebody who went, tell me what you understood by that. Now you're on the hook. You can't even go, here. What did you mean by that? I know. What do you get from that? What was he telling them?
I understood that he was telling them that because as a person, usually I accept what people dole out to me, and I just keep accepting, feeling that somehow it's my job to take on everybody's energies and problems.
Right.
And I don't know how to listen. And so that kind of hit a chord with me of what do you do?
He said, "If I don't take them, you poor people, you're going to have to go back to the town and distribute it to everybody." Anybody? Because you're on the right track. Anybody else get the reason why he called them poor people, unfortunate people?
Nobody's going to take them.
Nobody will take them, Carrie said. And you said karma, didn't you? Karma. We accrue, we accumulate karma when we disturb other people. Because Buddha would not accept them. That made them more angry, I imagine. If you poor people, you're going to be reliving and reliving the same humiliation and confusion because you found somebody who used her freedom not to accept them. What causes them to scar us? Some people hear it, and as you know, Buddha didn't bother them. They don't even stay a minute with those insults. What do we do that causes the scar tissue that affects us the whole of our lives? What do we do? What? And what do? We react and we dwell. And we go over and over and we don't let it go. Somebody wrote an email to me and it said, instead of giving you my usual problems, I just want to thank you for coming every Saturday and reading to us because I learned so much. But the thing I really want to thank you for is your advice that when something awful happens to us, like someone really betrays us or humiliates us or insults us, I told them, use my trick. Wait 3 days before you think about it. Because what happens, especially with older people like myself, you don't remember too clearly. But even with young people, it loses its venom when you've let some time and other events and other people come in between. One person said to me, well, what if it doesn't work after 3 days? I said, wait another 3 days. Wait 3 weeks, 3 years, whatever it takes. But don't think about it if it keeps bringing this emotional response. Instead of what was said earlier, whether maybe they were right, maybe what she was saying, it might have offended me, upset me, but I'm quiet now. What did she say? I talk too much? Maybe. Could be. What did she say? I'm egotistical about my car? No, that's not right. You can see clearly when your mind is quiet what is true and what is a problem of the other party. So we do damage to ourselves, as we'll hear as I go on, by remaining in the prison of the mind because we're still interested in that. We're still interested in the criticism people level at us. I use the example a lot of times of hearing the criticism of a 2-year-old. I had a 2-year-old at one time, now he's a grown man. But once in a while, the 2-year-olds say to you, I hate you. I don't like you, and your nose is too long or something, they say, like that. And you laugh because they're so cute when they do that, you know. And they say, my nose is not long, it's a little bitty. No, it's long. And you have this argument with a 2-year-old, and you enjoy it, it's fun. Listen to it coming from an adult. I hate you. And besides, your nose is too long. Your reaction is entirely different. We endow them with the ability to hurt us. If you are convinced they don't know any more than a 2-year-old, if they're using your personal appearance to criticize, and many people do, pick on the way you dress, pick on the way you walk, pick on your hairstyle, that you dyed your hair, you didn't dye your hair. They throw that into the insult too. And you hear what the politicians are doing. It's all on a personal level now. But you have to take care of yourself. You have to say, these are dangerous people to my peace of mind. I will do what Buddha did. I just won't accept it. And the way to not accept it is not to react by not thinking about it. The reaction can be there. An initial reaction, that's all right. That like Pavlov's dog salivating at the sound of the bell with no food. You get that. But if you're really accustomed to watching even your reaction, and then you respond, you find that the response is very different from the reaction. Gurji, when some people would heckle him, occasionally somebody would come just to see if they could shake him. And they would say something like, I think you are hypnotizing people, Dr. Mishra. You're not a master, you're a hypnotist. He said, this is what I heard. And a number of people heard him say something similar. He said, you're a charlatan, you're just a hypnotist. He said, you are half right. You are half right. I realize you are half right. But I am not hypnotizing, I'm de-hypnotizing. You are already hypnotized. I'm here to break that spell. And he wasn't being, smart aleck. It was just, he thought about it. No, that's a response. No, you say I'm a hypnotist. No, that's not it. Half right, you are, half word is right. But I am de-hypnotizing. That's my job. That comes, as we heard in his excerpt, when you have some knowledge of who you really are. We're not this scarred, conditioned, helpless personality that will go on suffering because we allow people to hurt us. Just don't take it in. Yes?
Or also more powerfully, you turn the other cheek.
Yeah, well, that's like doing it. If you don't think about it, he was smiling at them. And at the end he said, oh, you poor people, you're going to have to go and spread this venom in town because you got no relief from me. They thought if they just dumped it on Buddha, they'd feel better, but they were more restless, remember? Seeing he turned the other cheek. But it wasn't any idea to turn the other cheek. It's just that he realized they were ignorant. He said, it's your foolishness. I don't have to accept your foolishness. In our language, turning the other cheek, the result is turning the other cheek, but we shouldn't have the thought, I'm going to turn the other cheek. Because then hidden in that is some ego still, some sense of superiority. It should happen, but without our being aware that we're turning the other cheek. We're just studying the whole situation. Remember the first word, self-analysis, is a matter of research. We're researching this by hearing about Buddha. When you come to these programs, the ones Bharati Mahabha, Karuna give, based mainly on the scriptures, and then you come here and hear the different masters' view of what is awakened and what is the meaning of sleep, what we're still looking at. Anybody else want to ask anything while I go on with this? Yes?
Do masters get reincarnated, or once they become a master, they're never coming back?
My understanding is that they have the choice.
They do.
They can choose. Our Guru said twice, I heard, he said, I'm coming back 3 times. I don't know why. He went through so much with us, and he lingered after a massive stroke. He lingered for our sake. He could have just left. But he said we weren't ready, and we certainly weren't. We were in shock. But they have the power to either, they know how to bring that about, to take reincarnation, take incarnation again, and they also can enter, even while they're not back in a physical form, a baby, they can enter into open receptacles, conduits, so they can speak. It's like tonight. Where did that come from? I've never done that. never come out of meditation. I said, I got a message for somebody, a name for somebody. First time. And usually, I must say, usually our guests don't come and arrange bonfires. You just insisted. And I don't know, I'm talking out of turn, but Marv Dharmadev said, well, who arranged for that bonfire? We knew you were coming, but we thought it was program planning, planned a bonfire after this program. And Marvin said, who arranged that? And Sarat said, I believe it was Carrie. I said, oh, well, if it's Carrie, we're going to have a bonfire. Because I know Carrie, I know her heart. So that was all right. All right, now, this ashram, we're so flexible. We don't have we have a structured program, but whatever comes to change that program, we assume it's the Guru. Like these readings change. I always assume it's the Guru. That there's something, I don't mean the Guru in that form, I mean the Guru that sits within us. The Guru that lives through these teachings, through these readings, through all of you. We're used as conduits, as instruments for them. Now Buddha is responding. You, meaning you, I, you react. Buddha simply laughed. And the thing that he said is very beautiful. He said, for your foolishness, I'm not going to punish myself. You can be foolish, that's your right, that's your freedom. But because you're foolish, why should I punish myself? For once I take your insult, I start punishing myself. They go away happy. I really told her off. And they tell the rest of them, I'm in such a good mood, because I finally told her off, or told him off. And I've been meaning to say that for a long time. And you, the innocent victim, who maybe you saw that you didn't deserve that at all, you're miserable for the rest of your life because you take that. You accept it. Instead of saying, as if it were a 2-year-old, she's only 2. What does she know? And maybe my nose is a little long, I don't know. But what does it matter? That's a response. The other is a reaction. Very important. Save you so much, all of us, so much misery. He said, for your foolishness, I'm not going to punish myself. You be foolish. That's your freedom. But why should I punish myself? Once I take your insult, I start punishing myself. When you are angry back, you punish yourself for the other's fault. Reaction is unaware. Response is a fully alert phenomenon. But you cannot just move from reaction to response. It's not a decision. Between the two, see, that's what you said, so you move from the reaction to turning your other cheek. We're not being advised to do that. He said, you cannot just move from reaction to response. It's not a decision. Between the two, reaction and response, self-remembering is needed. Awareness is needed. Otherwise, before you have known, you have reacted. Where did we hear something similar tonight? Remember Gurji? Without self-knowledge, we'll always be in prison, a prisoner to our reactions. And I didn't choose them with that idea that I need something to go with a reading. And one changed. I had 2 that were picked out that were quite different. This changed, and it's the same message, which happens a lot. Someone Between the two, self-remembering is needed. Awareness is needed. Otherwise, before you have known, before you realize it, you've reacted. Someone insults, and before you have known, you are already angry. The anger has entered in. It's such a subtle phenomenon. Very deep awareness is needed. We're being told what we need. Very deep awareness. Remembering is needed. Buddha used to teach his disciples this. Walk, but walk with mindfulness. When you're walking, know that you are walking. Not that you have to verbalize and repeat inside, I am walking, I am walking. Because if you repeat that, you're not aware. Just have the feel of being aware. Walk with awareness. Eat with awareness. Breathe with awareness. The breath goes in. Let it be mirrored in your being that the breath is going in. The breath goes out. Let it be mirrored in your being that the breath is going out. And you will feel, that's just witnessing. That's another name for witnessing. If you do that, you will feel such tremendous silence descending on you. If you can see the breath going in and going out, going in and going out, this is the deepest mantra that has ever been invented. Sri Brahmananda would have us breathe with so as you take the breath in and hum as you release the breath. What does so hum mean? Anybody know? Are they right? I am that. So hum, it could be thou art that. I am that. As long as there is this awareness, because they say that the soul, this is what I heard, the soul enters the fetus when the first breath is taken. And we know that the soul leaves the body when the last breath is given. Sometimes Guruji did say that the soul won't stay in a very, very diseased body. It hovers around, doesn't stay in the body. It hovers around. And when the body dies, it continues to hover. We ask Guruji, why does the soul hover for 3 days, every soul, near the body? And Guruji said, it's used to being there. Then where's it going to go? The soul hovers anyway around the body. Didn't you ever feel that you had left your body in meditation? And then it goes back in. There's that magnetic pull. It's great fun to be in the presence, even to hear their great wisdom. It takes you right out of your mind and gives you a reason to laugh at yourself, at myself. There's no need to repeat Om, Om, Ram, Ram, because a great natural mantra is continuously going on, breathing in, breathing out. The mantras, the kirtan, that's for our delight. But you can be totally silent and that kirtan, that mantra, will be going on. The great kirtan masters, I call Krishna one, they know to be silent after a long kirtan, because that's when the real happening occurs, when the kirtan is continuing within you. So a mantra can be going on naturally in the silence. There's no need to have to repeat Om, Om, Ram, Ram during your meditation. Because a great natural mantra is going on. Breathing in, breathing out. No need to create an artificial one. When you become aware by and by, that condensed unawareness we call ego disappears. When you become aware, by and by, that condensed unawareness that we call the ego disappears. Just as you bring a lamp in the room and the darkness disappears. Awareness is the lamp we were talking about. Be a lamp unto yourself. Famous words of Buddha. Be a lamp unto yourself. Be a light unto yourself. In somebody else's light, for a few moments you can feel happy, you can feel alive, but then you have to leave because nobody else's path can be your path. Kindle your own flame. Enlighten your own being. In that light, the first thing that disappears is ego, because ego is nothing else. Remember, ego is just layers and layers of unawareness. We've got to go to the heart. I skipped this. We don't have to do that. We do have to do it, but not now. John Cage reports in his book is called Silence, that in Harvard University they have made an absolutely soundproof room for certain scientific experimentation. John Cage entered that room, and he said it was the greatest soundproof room in the whole world. He entered, it was absolutely quiet, but suddenly he started hearing two noises. So he became worried. He had heard that this place was scientifically soundproof. So he asked in a kind of hesitant voice, "Is there something wrong in this room?" The technician laughed. He said, "No," he said, "people ask me all the time. Those sounds are within you. The first sound is just your mind functioning inside. The second, it is the nervous system that you're aware of. That's the sound of pulsation. And the second sound is nothing but your blood running through the body, the blood circulation." And Gurdjieff has pointed out to us, if we're very silent, if the mind is very silent in meditation, you can actually hear your heart beating. Have you had that? That you could hear, not just experience, you can hear it beating as if you were up against your own heart. But that's the silence we're not used to. John Cage said, "But I never heard those sounds before." The technician said, "Because there were so many other sounds outside. Now it's absolutely quiet, no sound at all. That's why you hear the inner mechanism functioning. The brain continuously working. Millions of nerves continuously working. And the blood circulation continuously going on just like a stream flowing." Cage said, "My thought was, well, then quiet won't do. Silence is needed. Even in the quietest room, your inner turmoil will be there. You will hear your own thoughts. You will hear your own body functioning." I'm trying to go past some things. He's saying, if you can remember yourself, while doing millions of things, ordinary things, digging a hole in the garden, watering the trees, talking to someone, listening to someone, just go on watchful. Then whatsoever happens will be mirrored by you. Remember one thing. You're not to verbalize it, because by verbalizing, you will miss the beauty. You can say that I am walking, this is my left foot moving, this is my right foot, the breath getting in, the breath going out. If you start verbalizing inside, you will be filled by your own noise again. I'm advising, just watch, just witness. I can read the whole thing. Don't think about it, just see it, feel it, the breath going in, the breath going out. Move with that. Then the breath stops for a second, then remains in quiet silence for that second. Nothing moving, no movement. In that state of no movement, you are the nearest to God, to truth, to self, than you ever can be. Then the breath starts moving. You know that when you're in deep meditation, your breath becomes very shallow, almost to the point where it's frightening to people who come upon you, because you're barely breathing. You have to hold a mirror to see the breath, because you go back into the quietest state where no breathing is even necessary. We've known Swami Ram, the great yogi. He could hold his breath for hours, I don't know how long. They buried him, one of the universities, because he had proven that he could do this. They buried him. And after many hours, they took him out, and he was better than ever. This is Swami Ram. He's the founder of the East-West Bookshop on Fifth Avenue. He also came here. Very great powers. Last two sentences. In that state of no movement, you are the nearest to God, to truth, to self, that you ever can be. Then the breath starts moving out, so move out with that. Again, outside for a single second, the breath stops. Then watch. In that stopping, again, you are closest to truth. Make it a rhythm, then no other meditation is needed. Just the remembering will bring you to your own treasure. I have more, but I'm just going to end with the final statement here. Use every situation in your life, because every situation can be used to make yourself more and more aware and alert. Practice witnessing, and you will be removed, released, relieved of all the scars of your past. If I didn't love Carrie so much, and I didn't love fire so much, you're going to have a great time. I can't go, but I've been to many bonfires, and I love fire. But if I didn't know you had to go, I would enter into a dialogue with you. But since it has happened this way, it means we should leave it alone. No more talking is needed. Just a minute of silent meditation, and then I'll ask Krishna, would you lead us in our final prayer? Not final, but our traditional prayer. Just take a deep breath in. Breathe in very deeply. And as you release, feel as though you're letting go of all the words, all the language. Just letting go of everything. And observe the response, not the reaction, but the response of your body, your senses, to this atmosphere, to this energy right now. Anytime you're ready, Krishna. Thank you, Krishna.